So again, I have my social media icons up here. Now, another thing that we could choose to do is we can make that part of our header. Once we get into the video series coming up that will talk about building an Ultimatum template and everything from scratch, we'll get more into this header section and building what's called parts. When I build a layout, I can build a partial layout, which is short for parts, and parts is short for partial, or I can build a full layout. So what you're seeing down here is a full layout. What you're seeing up here is a partial layout. Partial layouts can be used for headers and footers. All right, so let's discuss more about, let's take the social media. Let's just keep that right there. And we can take other information. Again, we talked about slideshows, a search we can put in here, recent posts. These are really self-explanatory stuff. So don't kind of, bust your head over, well, how do I do all this stuff? If you click on this, so as an example, if I go Ultimatum, what you see is what you get. If I drag down here, what that enables me to do is I can basically put a lot of cool stuff in here. So if I go to edit content, this is similar to the text file inside of WordPress. But what this enables you to do is put all kinds of shortcodes and everything else, which I think is really nice right on the fly. So as an example, let's click out of this for a second. So what I've done here is I have Ultimatum, what you see is what you get. Now in WordPress, WordPress has a simple text file, but let me share with you the difference. Let me just close this for a second. Text basically enables you to put any kind of standard text, ASCII text, or HTML text. So if you wanted to, you could put whatever text you want in here, but unfortunately you need to know HTML. The advantage of using this new improved version of the Ultimatum widgets, let me just close this for a second, or actually delete it, is I get a nice little interface of doing some really cool stuff. So again, I want to edit the content. Now, if you don't want to output, if you do want to output the title, you click right here. So we'll just call this, my new info, and I'm going to edit the content. And again, I have the same interface that was available before when I created a page. Now, here's what I want to share with you, and I want to slow down the video for a second and just take time to kind of get into your head the difference. Before, we were creating information for that particular page. Okay, so listen to me about this, because this will be very confusing if you don't get this. Before, we were creating shortcodes, as an example, on that particular page, and then we said, okay, what layout is going to be used for this particular page? What we're about to do is put the information on the layout, so it's going to be there all the time, as opposed to rolling up the page. This will come up for that particular layout. So as an example, I'm just going to go into shortcode for a second, and let's say I probably, even though you could, I would probably not use columns for this because I would put that inside of a layout. I would do a 3-column layout. So let's do something with our tabs again. So we're going to insert tabs, and we're just going to call this tab 1. And I just want to share with you the difference, visual difference in the understanding of this between, I want to make that my active one. Again, don't hit insert unless you're done. Add tab. And this will be 2. Copy, spelling 2 sometimes would help. Copy, paste, add tab, and we'll just make this 3. So I just want to share with you the difference between doing it inside of the layout as opposed to doing it inside the page. So that put the shortcode, or whatever information you want to put in here. You can basically have a whole list of information in here. Again, this is the visual section, the text section. If you're in the text, you can't see the icon. You have to be in visual, and I hit save and close. Make sure you save the changes. Now again, you're going to see the information right here, but if you want to physically edit the content, of course, you need to click there. So here's the difference. Because I put the information right inside of the layout itself, that means that this information is going to be on every page that uses that layout. Let me repeat that. Because this is tied to the actual layout itself, any page that uses that layout, it's going to come up that way. So as an example, if I come up here to visit my site, okay, and this is the basic front page layout, okay, here's my tab 1, 2, and 3. So the tab 1, 2, and 3, before we had it tied to a page, now it's tied to a layout. So as an example, if I come up here and I go to multiple page, remember that you're not going to see those tabs at the bottom because this is using a different layout. How do I know what layout this is using? Well, two ways we can do that. We can go under Edit Layout, and we'd see that's using the no slider layout, or we can go to Edit Page. The advantage of going to Edit Page is I can change that to something else on the fly. So if I decided to go back to my default layout and hit Update, so now when I preview those changes, you're going to see the tabs at the bottom because that was part of that layout. Again, I really need you to understand the difference between doing something pertinent to that post or that page versus doing it to the layout itself. So I don't want you to go nuts with this when you go, well, how come I can't get rid of that, or how come I can't see it? So keep in mind that the information that you tie to the layout is going to be in that layout because that's part of the widget for that particular layout. So again, have a lot of fun with the WYSIWYG, which is new in the newer version of 2015 of the Ultimatum theme. It's really pretty cool. So take your time with this. There's all kinds of cool things in here. What we'll talk about in subsequent videos is custom loop, which we're not going to talk about right now, but just kind of go through this step by step. And if you get a little confused, just experiment. That's the best way to do this, one step at a time. Ultimatum menu, Ultimatum logo, include page. Actually, you know what? We'll do the include page in the next video because I do think that is important. So stay tuned.